I would really, really like to welcome to the stage the CEO of Zscaler, the founder of Zscaler, the chairman of Zscaler, Jay Chaudhry. Welcome to the stage. Please, round of applause for Jay. There we go. Good luck.
Great. Good morning. Wonderful. Good morning. Great. It is wonderful to see all of you in person after a long stretch of 2+ years. Thank you all for joining us for this exciting conference. And I must start with safe harbor. I need to keep in mind we're a public company now. So, Zenith Live is really not an ordinary conference trying to talk about how to preserve legacy technology. It is really meant for leaders who are driving transformation. And transformation is not about moving an old box with a new box. It is truly transforming your application, your security, your network. And it involves a range of roles and responsibilities. CIOs, CISOs, and CTOs often drive it. And architects, security practitioners, network practitioners, they play a very important role. And our partners, system integrators, channel partners, really come together to help our customers with this journey. Today, we have over 6,000 attendees globally joining this conference from around the globe. This is a lot of global 2,000 companies, a number of enterprises, and a number of small businesses, all here trying to learn how do I do transformation effectively. It is not about whether we are going to do our digital transformation. It is about how and when. The theme of the conference is Experience Your World Secured. It is about security, making sure we have properly secured our data. It is about experience, making sure the information can be accessed seamlessly, securely, and, of course, with great experience. So what is powering transformation? Right? It's all about some of these key technologies. Now, transformation's overall purpose is to make sure our business becomes agile, becomes competitive. We can build, deploy applications in a rapid fashion to get right information to make right decisions. But the technology that powers it is cloud, it's mobility, it's AI and ML, it's IoT, OT for gathering all that telemetry we need. So because of this, the IT is playing a bigger and bigger role because it's no longer where IT is trying to do technology for employees. It is enabling better communication, better engagement with your customers as well as suppliers. In this conference today, there's plenty of material for us to learn from each other, our customers, and others. There's lots of thought-provoking keynotes, many talks and discussions about innovations. You got certifications and training, 50+ technical breakout sessions, and tons of opportunity for networking. And being in Vegas, I'm sure we'll have some fun. And all this is to give you a handbook to drive your transformation effectively. Before moving into the next area, let's reflect on the last 2 years, where all of us faced a number of challenges due to COVID. You came out as leaders, as heroes. We had to switch overnight to work from home. You enabled businesses to continue working because our economy depends upon being able to work. And we are very gratified that at Zscaler, we played a small role to make sure your employees could keep on working. Our challenges are not done yet. COVID is still lingering on. We all hope that it goes away. But on top of that, we all need to deal with supply chain challenges, probably created largely by some of the COVID issues. On top of that, we got Russia-Ukraine conflict to deal with. And then there's a lot of talk of recession, and then a volatile stock market. All these challenges can be tackled by IT playing a more and more important role. So your role is becoming central. You're becoming the catalyst. You're no longer a technology operator. You're becoming a business strategist, which requires changing the way you think, changing the way you work. It requires more than technology change. It requires the mindset change. And if you do so, you'll play a bigger and bigger role and bigger responsibilities. Now, digital transformation. It seems to have become a buzzword when everyone starts using it. But it is playing a big role for companies to be competitive, for companies to survive. And companies who aren't driving it are getting left behind. There are 3 areas of transformation. It all started with application transformation. There was a time when CIOs and others felt like cloud is it's a kind of passing fad. We're all bought into it. Now, we are actually building applications rapidly in the cloud. We're no longer just lifting and shifting because that has limited value. But no matter how wonderful applications you build, if your users, if your employees, if your customers and suppliers can access them seamlessly with a great experience, it won't be that effective. And that legacy network and security that are designed for the data center-centric world are no longer helping. That's why the transformation network and security together is very important for the success of your digital transformation. Over the past 30 years, starting in late 80s and early 90s, all of us have been building this IP-based network, hub and spoke network, where you could connect every branch office to every data center, and you could go to a branch office, access applications. That was wonderful. And then we built a big castle and a moat, the data center, where all the applications sat. And it made sense for the old world. But in the new world of cloud and mobility, it needs to be transformed. It needs to be changed. So it requires a new architecture. That's where the discussion of old architecture of firewall VPN-based and the new architecture of Zero Trust. Zero Trust is about securely connecting authorized users, devices, and workloads to each other using business policies, not IP addresses, not ACL lists. And business policies are right entity to right entity based on entities, not networks. Why are we driving? What benefits can be obtained? We got thousands of customers who have gone through this journey, and they're given tons of testimonials about it. Starting with user experience. I'll tell you, I was talking to a CISO in Europe a few years ago, early customer. I said, I love to talk to my customers and understand what they like about Zscaler. And since our security is so good, you must be loving it. He smiled, he said, I like your security, but I like something far more than your security. I said, what could that be? He said, my users are writing on the intranet. That intranet has become so fast and they love it. And generally, security is blamed for slowing things down. He said, as a CISO, I like the fact that you're delivering great user experience in addition to security. That's wonderful. Cost reduction, complexity reduction is important. We simplify the whole network and collections of lots and lots of point products. Complexity is the enemy of security. Complexity is the enemy of reliability. By simplifying this thing, we deliver you better security and better resilience. Talking about cyber risk reduction, which is an important piece of what we drive. That work is not done yet. Cyber attacks are having bigger and bigger impact on business because bad guys want a piece of the action without working hard. I don't need to spend a lot of time on it, but we all know Colonial Pipeline, those ransomware attacks. We know supply chain attacks have impacted revenue significantly for many companies. And in this audience, who did not have to deal with Log4j? This thing is not slowing down. Now, the question you ask is, why is security failing us? Because over the past 30 years, we built a nice hub-and-spoke network connecting branches to the data center. Then we extended to every household with VPN. And now we are extending to every business partner and suppliers. So once you get on it, you can find applications wherever they are. It is like getting on Highway 80 in San Fran. And I can reach New York, Miami, Dallas, or Houston without hitting a single light. The problem is, bad guys can do the same thing. In this old model of security, your firewall would say, I am here, come and connect with me. Every firewall in a branch office or factory that's opening to the internet is an attack surface. The bigger your attack surface, the higher your risk. Then they compromise you. Okay. So we need to make sure we have proper security to prevent compromise. They move laterally to find high-value targets, then they steal your data. Rather than thinking about this appliance or firewalls or VPN or DLP solution, we look at holistically how to handle security in a more comprehensive and holistic way. So that's where the Zero Trust architecture comes in. There's a lot of confusion about this architecture because the incumbents are worried about getting disrupted. And they're trying to co-opt this term. In the Zero Trust world, your applications are merely destinations. Your users are all untrusted. There's no routable network between the user and the application. They all come through a switchboard, an exchange, where it starts with verifying who are you, what device are you coming from, where are you headed, and where are you coming from. Verification. Second part, evaluating security risk. It could be checking traffic for malicious stuff. It could be checking traffic for potential data loss. And it could be checking the risk score based on device posture, a few other things. And then eventually, we enforce the policy. We connect the right user to right application. We never put you on the network. The challenge is connecting to the network that creates a problem. In this process, you end up getting some significant benefits, the biggest being no lateral movement, no routable network. Second being the attack surface is eliminated. Okay. Now, trying to help you eliminate confusion between different architectures, right? These two cars look very similar. And if you do a test drive, you can go from place A to place B and think that everything is the same, but that's where the similarity ends. You open the hood. Right? One has an internal combustion engine with lots and lots of parts. Second is a simple electric car. One has high carbon footprint. Second has no carbon footprint. One has about 2,000 moving parts. One has 20. This is really probably a good example to see the difference between a clean architecture. The software example I'll give you in this area is Siebel versus Salesforce. When I started Zscaler in 2008, I got a lot of inspiration from Salesforce because they built a clean, multi-tenant, cloud-native architecture. Siebel was a giant at that time. It dominated CRM in every enterprise. Don't you think they tried to take this Siebel software, try to spin it as virtual machines and say, I'm cloud too? Of course they tried. But the wrong architecture really did not work. It was the right multi-tenant architecture that became the underlying piece of Salesforce success. For me personally, it was very satisfying when Salesforce became a Zscaler customer last year, rolling out Zscaler Internet Access, Zscaler Private Access, and more. In fact, it started out with a fascinating use case, which is my favorite, M&A integration of Tableau with Salesforce. So to talk about Zero Trust, I would like to invite Sasha, who is the leader of security at Salesforce, to get his thoughts on Zero Trust and what they are doing about it.
Thank you, Jay.
Sasha,
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you for joining me.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Salesforce, I always thought them as a leader in SaaS security. But the way they are driving Zero Trust, it's fascinating. So tell me what your thoughts are about Zero Trust.
Yeah, thank you for the question. And first, I would suspect there are many Salesforce customers in the audience today, whether it's of our mainstream products or Tableau, as Jay mentioned, or Slack, or MuleSoft, or any of our other portfolio companies. And at Salesforce, our number one value for employees and customers is trust. And that's very sort of apropos for this discussion, because we need to provide trust to our shareholders, to our customers, to our employees, and to our community. So how does Zero Trust play into trust being our number one value? Actually plays really well, because it's the next level in the evolution of our journey to provide trust to all of our key stakeholders.
That's very good. But there's a fair amount of confusion about Zero Trust. I had a customer who said, I do my VPN, I do Zero Trust at Zscaler. It all feels the same. I just get access to my applications.
Yeah, it's shockingly deceptive, isn't it? Right? Whether you're working from home or whether you're working from your favorite coffee shop, there's some sort of a client, it connects, and you have access to resources. So how is that any different between a VPN client and a software-defined perimeter client? I think the big difference that maybe there's some confusion about is in the case of VPN, you're extending the network to that coffee shop, right?
Coffee shop.
The entire network is extended out to the client.
So if you got 20,000 people working from home, your network is in 20,000 households.
That's right, or 20,000 coffee shops or unprotected Wi-Fis or whatever, yep.
Now you have talked about lateral threat movement and segmentation as some of the key benefits. Expand upon that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And that applies whether it's Salesforce Corporation for the enterprise assets that we run, or whether it's for our production workloads where our customer data runs. We'd like to create an island of one, right? I would say the industry as a whole has probably invested disproportionately on the probability side of risk reduction. And I think this gives us an opportunity to put quite a dent on the impact side. Can we reduce the impact or the blast radius of a catastrophic cyber event? And Zero Trust architecture gives us that flexibility.
I like island of one. The right party connects the right party through a switchboard. You're never on the network.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the key next evolution to either get ahead or stay ahead of the adversary, is to create blast radiuses that are as contained as possible. And Zero Trust network architecture gives us that opportunity.
Wonderful. Sasha, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jay.
Great.
Thank you.
Yeah. So to help you, we have recently published a book, 7 Elements of Highly Successful Zero Trust Architecture. It just came out. You can pick up your copy in the exhibit area at the Zscaler booth. So now, how do we apply Zero Trust to solve our business problems? It's no longer just users. You need to worry about users, workloads, and your devices. So Zscaler has 3 key offerings. Securing your users is one area, securing workloads being 2, IoT, OT being 3. Most of you who are our customers are pretty familiar with our product offering that started off with Zscaler Internet Access, ZIA, Zscaler Private Access, ZPA, and a couple of years ago, we introduced Zscaler Digital Experience, ZDX. All 3 services together form Zscaler for users, which makes sure that a user can have fast, secure, and reliable access to applications no matter where they are and no matter where the user is, without you having to worry about the network security and the like. Our customers have done amazing number of things, driving transformation together with us. I'm very proud of many, many examples. During COVID, for example, New York City Department of Education had to make sure about 1 million students could actually study from home using an iPad or an Android tablet. Zscaler was gratified to play a role in making sure those children could actually go through securely to access the application and services they want. We got lots of retail customers who are not just doing the old stuff, but driving some new innovations. We got a retailer in Switzerland who wanted to open new stores that are IT infrastructure free, simply taking a tablet with a SIM card and Zscaler client connector. They could connect to our cloud seamlessly and securely connects to their applications in the data center in the cloud. Literally, you're able to open your retail store in days rather than waiting for weeks or months. We got an interesting customer in Australia who wanted to open an IT infrastructure-free warehouse. How do you do that? Well, the most important device in a warehouse is a scanner. What's going in, what's going out. They standardized on Android, put a SIM card in it, a 4G SIM card, added our client connector. They could literally be scanning, connecting to our cloud with ZPA, and that cloud in turn talks to SAP, ERP, inventory applications. All those things can be done very quickly in a pretty fast, quick amount of time. And there are tons and tons of examples. I won't spend too much time on it. Baker & Baker, a very high-profile chain in Europe, literally deployed Zscaler, cutting costs significantly and improving security. Sanmina, in manufacturing area, high-tech manufacturing area, IP was extremely important for them. They wanted to make sure the right users could access right applications, protecting their IP. New Jersey courts, they went all in with ZIA, ZPA, ZDX for full transformation. ZPA was so exciting to the team because it could figure out any user performance issues pretty quickly. Because the hardest thing IT has to figure out is, where is the starting point, where is the problem? And we help you figure out because we have end-to-end visibility. Now, let me invite on stage another very progressive customer who has actually gone through the transformation with Zscaler, ZIA, ZPA, ZDX, all of it. Michael Montoya, who is the SVP and CISO of Equinix. Michael.
Hey, Jay.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
Great.
Well, Equinix needs no introduction. You are the largest digital infrastructure provider in the world. As a CISO, what are your key priorities?
My first priority is to get out of this suit because I'm going to explode if I don't get into a black T-shirt and some jeans in a minute. But anyhow, Jay, we share a lot of customers. So many of you are our customers. Thank you very much. And our number one priority, because we are the world's largest digital infrastructure.
Right.
So as a result, we are critical infrastructure for many of our customers. And they transfer and they look at us to be an extension of their security team. So securing our platform is our number one priority, keeping our platform secure. Second element for us is very much about helping our company take more risk and accelerating the risk. And for us, all of us have embraced the risks we've had to take over the last couple of years with getting a very distributed workforce, making that distributed workforce highly productive in a very remote environment, and that's something that we've been managing for the last couple of years. Still remains a high priority for us, very much around our digital transformation and zero trust capabilities. And then finally, just driving a culture of security across the company. So how do we make a very frictionless experience for our users and inevitably make security something that's by design for them versus a bolt-on?
I love the term frictionless security you used. Expand upon that a little bit.
Yeah, so frictionless, I mean, we look at frictionless in a number of ways, but at the basis of it for us is the essence of our digital transformation and our zero trust principles, where we can say, hey, it's going to be policy-based, it's going to be automated, and inevitably it's going to be context-aware. So we're going to be able to actually apply policy based on some condition, whether it be access or authorization to an application, to data, to a specific environment, and that's very much our approach to zero trust and frictionless.
Zero trust and frictionless at the same time.
It's
It can be. You don't need to compromise.
Exactly.
Right? So you selected Zscaler and rolled it out. Tell us a little bit more about your thought process in selecting, and what have you rolled out, and what results have you seen?
Yeah, so we've rolled out 3 products. So, and I'll give you our philosophy behind each. So we have a very hybrid environment, very multi-cloud environment. So we have a lot of on-prem environments still, so we needed to get our users access to SaaS applications, to the internet, as well as enable a lot of our on-prem infrastructure as well. So the ZIA, ZPA has helped us really accomplish that, to do both of those. Both have also helped us implement our least privilege and our zero trust strategy. So how do we take our policies and make them very conditional at an application level,
Right.
at an identity level, and even at a data level as well. So we're working through that, which is a very big selection criteria for us. Finally, back to the cultivated culture and that maniacal focus we have on the user experience is that
Yes.
we've used ZDX to help us understand the end-to-end view of what the user is dealing with. And I'll tell you, we had a very accelerated rollout, like many of your customers. And I've been in this industry 25 plus years, grew up on the networking side, rolled out more IT
Right.
solutions than I care to count, and I have yet to see a solution that came with such little negative feedback from the user community. I mean, it was a very strong approach, not only to helping our users remain very productive in an automated way, but it also helped bring our network and our security teams a little closer together to look at the end-to-end view of how we're serving our users.
Excellent. Michael, thank you for your partnership.
Always,
Thank
Jay.
you for joining me here.
Thank you very much. Thank
Great.
you, Jay.
A very exciting use case that Zscaler serves that I did not think of when I started the company was M&A and divestitures. The scores and scores of example. We've done about 300 M&A or divestiture projects with our customers in the past couple of years. When 2 companies need to come together, bring the network together, or when you divest to separate the network becomes a problem. In the world of Zscaler, network is simply the transport, it's plumbing. You don't need to bring the networks together. You can have the right party access right party. And to help our customers with it, we actually have built a team of experts who can give you guidance and be the sounding board for you. So tap on the team, call us if we can help you in this area. Because the M&As are accelerating. The next area is about securing your workloads. A lot of you have already done your journey about securing your users. Workloads is a relatively new area. In December of last year, we rolled out what we called our workload communications product. Workloads, somewhat like users, talk to the internet. Workloads talk to other workloads. So zero trust plays an important role. We took our core ZIA switchboard technology, our ZPA switchboard technology, and applied to workload by actually building a cloud connector technology. A number of you are working on it. A number of you will love it because by doing this, you no longer need to roll out virtual firewall A, virtual firewall B, and virtual firewall C. Now, on top of that, we want to build some more functionality that our customers needed. So today, we are launching the second piece of securing your workloads, and we call it posture control. A workload needs to securely communicate, but in addition to that, when you are launching those workloads, to make sure they're configured right, there are hundreds and hundreds of configurations around the workloads. And then you also need to make sure the right people have right access, entitlement, and permissions. In addition, you need to make sure their attack surface is minimized and there are no vulnerabilities. All that stuff is put together in one integrated offering, rather than having individual CSPM, CIEM, a bunch of these four-letter acronyms that Gartner creates. Okay. The combination of posture control combined with workload communication really delivers you full end-to-end experience from build time to run time. This is what we call Zscaler for workloads. Check it out during the exhibits, at the exhibits during breaks. The third area, securing your IoT and OT. This was driven by our customers. They say, IoT, OT, a lot of my plants and factories, they are really sitting on traditional network. Once you get on it, you can laterally move and cause a lot of damage to factories and critical infrastructure. So it is natural for us to take our switchboard, our exchange technology, to factories. And we got now solutions where you can remotely access your OT systems securely without doing VPN. You can actually deploy those solutions within the factory floor, or you can send telemetry from IoT, OT devices to your data lake in Azure, AWS, or wherever else securely without doing VPN and the like. And we have a great partner in this area, Siemens. They recently issued a press release talking about how we're together doing product innovation, integration, and go-to-market. Another set of functionality we are launching today is a bunch of innovations in AI/ML. AI/ML is not a product on its own. It's using AI/ML to really deliver some great functionality. AI/ML starts with tons of data, and we have lots of it, 240 billion transactions a day, giving us over 300 trillion signals every day. We have enhanced our threat prevention capabilities. Risk-based policies can be applied dynamically. We can do segmentation, whereby we automatically come up with recommendations, and this group of people should be able to access this group of applications. Amit Sinha and Patrick and our other product leaders will be covering a lot of this in their upcoming sessions. Let me give you a little bit preview of where we are headed next. A number of you have done local internet breakout, which is wonderful. You no longer go through a choke point, your data center. You take your branch office, you basically configure your SD-WAN device or router and say internet traffic goes direct through Zscaler, and my internal traffic stays on SD-WAN, which goes over the internet, saving you money, reducing MPLS cost. But our customers said the lateral threat movement is still there. The risk is there because a single infected machine in a branch office can traverse and infect the rest of the stuff because it is routable network. Our customers have been asking us to really make my branch office like a Starbucks. That means no routable network. So we are working on a solution whereby taking our connector technology, which acts as a traffic cop, you can really take a tunnel from your branch, terminate in the cloud where our connector technology is being hosted. You can essentially have full access, not just for users, but for IoT, OT devices such as your video cameras, security cameras, or your badge readers and the like. We're working with a couple of dozen customers to make sure we get all the kinks out. But that's the next area, interesting area in the next phase of the journey. B2B is becoming a bigger focus. While the basic Zscaler private access can be used for basic B2B, as you start working with the customers, they're looking for suppliers and other partner engagement. There'll a bunch of more functionality being added, support for multiple identities, browser isolation, a lot more. And you'll hear more about this area in coming quarters. Okay. 5G, interesting area. A lot of talk about it. But 5G is actually giving you a much faster bandwidth, a much better response time, and there's so many new use cases emerging from it. The number one thing it's doing is pushing the edge of the cloud farther out. Okay. which really means a policy needs to be enforced at the edge. Zscaler Zero Trust Exchange was designed for this type of stuff. And that's really what we are working on. You'll hear more and more about it in coming quarters. Now, being able to do all this is a journey. The good thing is you can do it in a meaningful fashion. A number of you have done all or some of it, what I call the phase one. Empowering and securing your users to access any application from anywhere. Protecting your data, our cloud workloads is becoming a next priority for most of our customers. And then you can move on to IoT, OT security, and eventually engaging your customers and suppliers securely without extending your network over to their places. And these are the kind of areas where you would need help of partners. Our partner ecosystem helps you in this area. Accenture is one of our partners that needs no introductions. So I thought I'll invite two leaders from Accenture to join me on stage to talk about how they can help our customers. Rex and Ed, let's join me.
Hey, Jay.
Great.
Thanks for having us.
Ed, Rex.
Yeah. I was a little worried when no one clapped at first, but.
So, Accenture requires no introduction. Everyone knows you guys have been driving business transformation for years before transformation became a very popular term. Start with your roles.
Sure.
Ed.
So Ed Wood, I am the growth and strategy lead for Cloud First Networks. Just a little bit of context. I spent 23 years of my career at Accenture working with service providers. Left to go run a startup that was a pioneer in zero trust multipath VPNs, and came back last year to design and launch our Cloud First Network organization. One of my first calls was to Rex because we knew the importance of interlocking our network and security businesses in this new age.
Rex.
Oh, thanks, Jay. So I run what's called our Applied Cybersecurity Services. So that is basically our transformation business. So I'm responsible for cloud and network security, identity and access management, data security, platform security for like SAP, Oracle, Salesforce, and SaaS applications, as well as integrated risk management. So obviously everything that I cover is kind of involved in Zero Trust. And just wanted to thank Jay for having us here, and we're really appreciative of being able to share some of our thoughts today.
Now, we all know Accenture has been doing application migration, transformation, all the workload stuff for years. Well-known name. Security practice has been going on for a while. This new focus on cloud first network. Why now? And how do you see our customers taking advantage of something like this?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, we've always had a network business, but I think especially during the pandemic, a lot of our clients went through what we call a compressed transformation, moving applications to the cloud or remote worker solutions just for survival. And what we saw is that with that compressed transformation, that there was a need to start to transform the networks and therefore the security of the networks as well, because it's all about the user experience.
Right, exactly.
So what we saw, the factors that went into it was an acceleration to cloud. Now that we're more in a comprehensive transformation phase, the implications to network operations, security operations, poor user experience, and the threat from moving to the cloud. And so we formed this organization, interlocking with our security business around our offerings, our go-to-market, our strategy, who we partner with, and where we invest.
I think I like the fact that you can handle both sides of business. I hear many times a networking-led transformation, often security suffers. Security-led, networking gets ignored. So how should our customers be looking at it? Quite often, they start on one side, they know the other has to be done. How can you help our customers? What guidance do you have based on your experience to engage with you?
Yeah, I'll start and let Ed finish up for me. But I think one of the things that as this cloud journey has happened for a lot of our clients, a lot of people are trying to apply legacy security concepts to new techniques, and it becomes unmaintainable, right? You talked about route tables, firewalls, VPCs. It gets ridiculous, right?
Especially in the cloud.
Yeah, 100%.
Imagine trying to maintain IP address in the cloud.
Yeah, and so what we've seen is that people aren't being able to realize the true value of it because they're not able to go as fast because it becomes too cumbersome. And instead of lowering costs, it increases operational costs, right? And so I think one of the things that we try and focus on is how can we help them adopt a zero trust architecture? And I think one thing that's important is Accenture tries to be its first and best credential. And so we're 95% in the cloud. 95% of our business is run in the cloud for 700,000 employees, and we have a zero trust security model. So we have implemented that, and I think that's one thing that we're very proud of. And doing that's part of why Cloud First Networks is here, yep. is because we realized we needed to have that capability and that vision and that practice, and we need to be more involved in the network versus the way it used to be with our clients in what I call the legacy world, so to speak.
Excellent. Do you want to share an example of a customer you may have helped in this area?
Sure. I think I shared ours. I took some notes because it's a lot to remember, and usually I have a slide to look back. But I think one of them is we have a global food producer with 72,000 employees in 70 countries. Their goal was to build the network of the future, right? It was to have cost avoidance for over 300 sites, advanced threat SSL inspection, for on and off-prem apps, and their key IT initiatives, which I think were accomplished, were reduce risk, lower costs, and improve performance. And the results were a single pane of glass for increased visibility, simplification and cost reduction around MPLS traffic, as well as high performance and scalable and redundant architecture. I think those are the key signs for that, for success in what our clients are looking for.
That's a lot. If you deliver this, I'll sign on it tomorrow.
Yeah, we're ready to go.
That's that's wonderful.
And Jay, if I could just make kind of a last point, I think what's really important is what we're seeing in the market is it's really important for the CISOs and the network leaders to really start to kind of work together, probably more closely than they ever want to work together, to come up with a common set of requirements and architecture aligned to the business objectives around cloud transformation, and really focus on the user experience first and foremost, right? I think that's how you kind of balance that transformation journey with that never trust, always verify kind of security posture.
Yeah. Absolutely. So we look forward to working with Accenture, our partner, to help our customers drive their transformation.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, Jeff.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. We understand that no single vendor can solve all the networking and security problems. That's why we believe in partnerships. From day one, I've always believed in focus and super focus. Zscaler has a bullseye. We are the exchange with the switchboard, making sure that any communication from entity A to B to C goes through us. That's our forte. Now, in this new world, you select your SaaS provider, you select your data center providers, you select your cloud providers. And your users and applications somewhere out there, traffic flows through us. We enforce policy. We're like an international airport. We're checking your passport, your visa, your boarding pass, and your luggage. But in the process, we work with a range of partners. The logos shown in the slide are example logos. We've done integration with over 100 partners out there. Identity, the starting point of Zero Trust. Tight integration with all leading vendors in this space. Endpoint security complements what we do. Think of endpoint like securing your house with a door and lock. And think of us as an international airport to make sure nothing bad can come in, nothing good can leak out. We got proper threat intel sharing information with our partners in the space. Branch router or SD-WAN, we integrate, we work with both of them. The traffic gets easily routed with a single click to Zscaler Cloud. And all the logs we generate, we can send them in real time to security operations solution of your choice. That may be on-prem, that may be in the cloud. So this architecture helps you with integration with partners. You move away from trying to deploy and manage point products. You simply standardize on a handful of platforms. are platforms that are best-of-breed platforms that work with each other, and that's really the philosophy we drive. One of the dominant player in the security and application space is Microsoft. We've done far more integration with Microsoft than anyone has done in this area, starting with Office 365 integration to access to the SaaS applications to all areas. It's a great partnership on the product integration side as well as go-to-market side. Tomorrow, you'll hear a keynote from a key Microsoft exec about what we've done together. I want to thank our sponsors, our partners, who really have made this event more exciting, as it's all about an ecosystem of partners working together. Thank you all, and let's give them a big round of applause. We are proud that we have been, as a leader in the Gartner's Magic Quadrant for the last 12 years, the recent Magic Quadrant where they combined secure web gateway with DLP and application access and all into secure service edge. We are again the leader in this area. In the ESG space, we have a big focus, not just for us, but for our customers who are actually focused on ESG as well. As a cloud-native company, we actually have been able to naturally reduce the consumption of energy, cooling, and heating for our customer. Imagine eliminating hundreds of appliances that are scattered throughout your enterprise by simply pointing the traffic to us. And we built some very, very high-performance applications where the amount of servers we need to run the traffic is far, far less than it would be otherwise. If you need any help from us to say, how can I help put together ESG business case, we got people who have helped many of our customers in this area. A little bit more about Zscaler business. Okay. I still think of Zscaler as a startup, okay, because I want us to stay nimble and fast and focused on customers. But you look and say we are well over $1 billion in annual recurring revenue and cash flow positive, unlike lots of high-tech companies that bleed all day long. And even at that scale, we're growing about 63% year over year. That's pretty remarkable. With 6,000 some customers around the globe, with 50% revenue coming outside the US, we are a very international company. 40% of Fortune 500 companies depend upon Zscaler, and 30% of global 2,000 companies trust Zscaler. But out of all these stats, there's one stat I'm most proud of. That is the Net Promoter Score. NPS is probably the best indicator of customer sentiment. And having that score of over 70 when an average SaaS company sits at about 30 is remarkable. I think that's driven by two things. One, customer obsession is one of our key values, and it starts with me. We actually make it a priority to make sure we take care of our customers anytime. And second is the right architecture. You know, if you build the right architecture, just like Salesforce did, you win, even though the incumbents may be big. It's almost like someone trying to do DVD players, and we built the network streaming service. All those things have been helping us and our customers. As I come to a close, I want to leave you with a thought that transformation we are talking about is not just a buzzword. It is required for surviving and thriving. You see lots of these big companies out there, they got written up in good to great. They're floundering today because they haven't really moved the business. The business need to change. And what does transformation require? Transformation is not tweaking. It is, first of all, knowledge and conviction and understanding the new and better way of using technology to advance your business. That's a starting point. That's what we are trying to achieve here today. Second, it requires disruptive technologies. Technologies incrementally change all the time. But big architectural changes happen every 20 to 30 years. The network architecture we are talking about, today's IP-based, is 30 years old. It is time that IP-based networking goes away. And with Zero Trust, you connect the right thing to right parties. So understand the technology so that you're not really kind of tricked into saying my VPN in the cloud is my Zero Trust. But transformation requires more than technology. The culture and mindset change is sometimes even harder. Okay? And it's when IT professionals start understanding the benefit of it, they start driving it. So to really be successful, you need to bring your teams along to really show them how this thing is going to help them. Because change is uncomfortable. Because of the fear of unknown. If I have been dealing with the same IP network, the same security appliances for the last 30 years, I'm comfortable. That leads to inertia. So understanding, learning the benefit, and really being able to think that I need to be a progressive leader, I need to be a thought leader to drive this stuff becomes important. And last, I would say transformation is needed. All of your business, you as IT leaders can play a more and more pivotal role or central role to gain a competitive advantage. And the good thing is, what we're talking about doesn't need tons of new investments. You can realize undeniable benefits, including some very, very compelling ROI. With that, I will say, thanks a million. I'll see you next year, but there are lots and lots of exciting topics coming. And the next topic, you'll see our president, Amit Sinha, and Patrick talk about technology innovations. All right, thank you again. See you next year.